Hey, everybody, welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 423. This is September 23rd, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Kelly Lynn.
I'm Adriel Misha.
And I'm Kyle F.
Kyle F.
Hef.
Hef. Okay.
Hef.
All right. You're going to go with Kyle Hef. All right. Anyways, hi, everybody. I know that we've talked to each other quite a bit over the last couple of days. A lot, actually, didn't we?
We had that special episode on Monday.
Yeah.
I didn't put it out on the podcast, though. I just left it live because, who wants to listen to that after?
I dropped in kind of, but then I forgot about you and I had to drive home and just I was so depressed. Anyways, okay. I just didn't want to talk about it. All right. So why don't we get into what we did in guns? What we did in guns is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center. It's Canada's premier firearm retailer. And right now what they have in stock is the IWI X95 in stock. They have it in black, OD green, and flat dark earth. You want to bring it up there?
ODG, FDE. It's an X95. They've got them in stock. They're $2,900.
Yeah.
I think the price has gone up recently on those. Cost of living, inflation.
They have gone up. I remember them being $2,300 and now they're
$23.99 maybe.
Yeah.
Well, they're right on sale, but those days are gone.
But I shot one on the weekend. It was a lot of fun. So everybody should go out and shoot one. So
they're cool guns.
5.56. Might as well. We can still shoot that for the next week or two. Anyways.
There's the Tavor 7s that are in 308 as well.
Yes. Those are fun too. I shot one of those recently as well.
Real interested in the idea of using those as like a hunting rifle close in. Because I love bullpups. Like slinging a bullpup. Oh, it's so good. They're so comfortable. They're so compact. Getting them in and out of a truck is like nothing. Getting them they're so easy to get into a blind. They're really handy.
Yeah,
you can't brace them against a tree like you can a regular rifle, or you can't brace it off of a fence post or something like that as easily. But offhand, pretty okay.
Yeah, so lots of fun. All right, so Adriel, why don't you tell us what you did in guns this week?
I went to the range. Actually,
what? You went to the range?
I know you're surprised. Yeah, I was doing it and moving stuff at the same time. So I moved the last load of stuff that I need to get out of my house before listing it on Sunday. And at the same time, my brother kind of lives over near the Sherwood Park Fish and Game Range, so I hit that up at the same time. And I shot what did I shoot? My Fancy 22 because I needed to set it in for. My ammo's in bins and it's all locked up at my buddy's place. So I found some Blazer and I'm like, good enough because I'm going to shoot CRPS this weekend coming up.
Right.
So I'm shooting it with Blazer and so I decided to do that. It's fine. I got really decent accuracy at 50. It's punching a nice little ragged hole in it.
CR or
CRPS.
Oh, you're going out a little distance though.
That's why I wanted the high velocity.
Yeah,
because I've done it before at standard velocity. There's a little bit more cranking, and there's less give in your elevation when you're doing that.
Okay, doesn't it suck to move and have stuff everywhere?
Yeah,
you have it in storage. You have it at your friend's place. Yeah,
and yes, it does. I had to grab 308 ammo for that. Valmet as well and do a bit of shooting with that. Fun gun to shoot. Yeah, pretty shooting a 308 semi-auto. There's the recoil is very mild. I mean, it's a heavy gun. It's gas operated and had that bipod up on the front. I feel like if I could shoot it off the grass prone, it would have been amazing because it had real spiky feet on the bipod, so I could have preloaded it really nicely.
Yeah.
Off the bench, it was just sliding all over the place. So I was just taking the full run of it, kind of a thing. But yeah, it was a fun gun to shoot. 100% reliable and good accuracy out there. I think that's it. I got 3 videos queued up with my editor, and I'm going to have probably another couple tonight, and then I think Rick's going to be out here tomorrow.
Yeah.
So. We're going to set up a CRPS match.
Nice.
Do some long range 22 shooting.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're going to have fun.
Yeah, I think so. And that's it for me.
Well, who you want to throw it over to?
I'm
Half
gonna
for me.
pass it over to Hef.
All right.
Okay. I spent a lot of time this last week out moose hunting. A few close encounters, but wasn't able to close the deal. And last night was gonna be the last night, but it was too windy, so Doug called it. So yeah, my moose season is officially done. And now I go and focus on elk and deer with rifle. Other than that, I got a work day at the range coming up this week, so we're hoping to actually start filling the walls. Guys were out last Saturday and we're actually working on the 60 yard. Used to be 50, now it's 60 yard range. And yeah, they got an amazing amount of work done. But I was out
When you
hunting.
say fill the walls, like what are you guys doing? Like just some
filling it with
saran wrap
sand.
and a bunch of dirt in the middle there, or what?
Yeah, so either side we got 3x10s. So the surface of the wall will be 3x10. Then we just got geomat and then 12 inches in between of sand.
Okay.
So that'll give
That
us
sounds like it'll stop a bullet or two.
18 inches of wall thickness, which is right in spec with what you need for a berm of that construction. So
Cool.
So yeah, hopefully we can start filling the wall with some sand. And I finally got another episode of The Asylum edited and uploaded. So
Really?
yeah, and that one I recorded it back in April.
Ooh.
And
You recorded in April and it's only getting up now?
Yeah, I've been busy with this other show. I don't know if you've heard of it. But it was actually Dawson Creek's inaugural ORPS match.
Cool.
So talk with the match director and yeah, so a little delayed, but it's finally up and out. And that is, besides I going looking through my gun room and needing to do a lot of tidying up, that's about it for me.
So you're putting the bow away for the season?
Yeah, I might bring it out a little bit. We'll see. Like Doug's heading out to the cabin this weekend, so we'll see how the elk are doing. I might pull it out this weekend, but yeah, I think I don't have meat in the freezer. Well, very little meat in the freezer, so stop screwing around and just take the rifle out.
You're in a meat crisis. You got to get out there, take care of business.
Yeah,
fill the freezer. I've got my bow out now. That's what I was asking. So
yeah,
my bow is out.
Bow, I'm putting mine away.
Yeah, I've got it out. I still haven't figured out whether I'm going to hunt this year with my 6.5 Savage Axis or I'm going to use the Maverick. I might use the Maverick.
I vote Maverick.
Yeah, that Maverick.
With a bipod on it, like all the fixins, QD push button, USGI sling. So it's some sort of like detachable crazy bipod, detachable mags, big, like ridiculous scope, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you approve?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to have my hunting rifle built for hunting season, but as we were talking Monday night, having some issues finding stocks, which I still have to go review, look at all the stocks that were suggested there Monday night. So I'm still shooting the Tika, but it's, instead of the 280 AI proof barrel, it will be just in its 25-06 form.
I'm sure that'll kill a deer or elk or whatever you're going to point it at.
It's already been, well, not an elk, but it's already proven to kill a few deer.
Mm-hmm.
Couple?
They're not bulletproof.
A few, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Kelly?
All right,
doing,
so
guys?
I did a few things. Last weekend I was in Lower Trent Valley, which is near Trenton. It's in Frankfort, Ontario. So I spent the whole entire weekend there. The first day that I was there, it was a maple seed. And we did pretty good, actually. It was, and by the way, we're upholding the no rain thing because it didn't rain at all. It was warm, 23 degrees and sunny, and it was awesome. The range itself is a great range. We've already booked for next year. There are 2 dates already because it's such a great range, and it's close to home too. It's only an hour and a bit from my house, door to door, so I can drive there the morning of. Nice. So we had a really great day. It was all adults. We didn't have any youth on the line, and we had 4 riflemen and we promoted one of our instructors as well, one of our IITs, which is the instructor in training. We promoted him to a full instructor. So Kyle Kincaid was promoted that day. It was awesome. And it was a really good day. Great shooters as well. We also had, we stayed overnight in Trenton and got up early the next morning, and we went and had a ladies' day at Lower Trent Valley as well for the CCFR. So we had 42 ladies that came. We just basically had shotguns. So they were up on the shotgun range. They were doing trap. And then we also had the pistol bay working and also the rifle. And I was on the rifle range. And we had some really sweet rifles out. We had that Tavor that we were talking about previously. That was chambered in 5.56. And then we also had, as a treat, we had the Cadex. And it was the Kraken, I believe. Yeah, Kraken. So we did a draw for that. We had basically, it was so much fun. All the ladies smiling from ear to ear. We had an opportunity to talk about the CCFR. We also had an opportunity to talk about making a smart choice the next day when they go to vote and things like that as well. So I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Lower Trent Valley. I wanted to say thank you to Dave, who is the president of the club, for arranging all of this, and also to Nick, who is somebody who was our liaison for the ladies' day, and he did so much work. It was catered, they had prizes, it was awesome. So we had a really good day. And then on Monday night, right after work, I drove up to Ottawa and took part in the CCFR election night party. It didn't go well. And and then I got home at about 2:30 in the morning and then went to work. So it was a long night on Monday night, but hey, it was also lots of fun as well to go and hang out with the CCFR crew up in Ottawa. And so tonight, after the show, what I'm going to be doing is get together my Ipsec stuff, because tomorrow morning I'm going out to the range and we're going to be building a level 2 match that's going to be happening this weekend at Frontenac Rifle and Pistol Club. So there's going to be the final qualifier that I need for it. And then, but I'm going to be shooting with the setup crew tomorrow afternoon. I'm squatted with them. So I'm going to be squatted with Kelly as well as Dave, who is from Lower Trent Valley. I'm going to be seeing him tomorrow. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be working the event. Or the match. So I'm going to probably be scorekeeping or patching or whatever. So I'll be doing that.
Tablet. Do the tablet.
Yep. That's the
easiest job.
Yeah.
So
2 Alpha Charlie.
We like using steel as well. So I'm probably, I don't know. I like volunteering for the steel so that we can reset it up and everything. Because anyways, it's lots of fun. Everybody that we're working with is a great crew too, so it's lots of fun. So I'll be doing that this weekend, and then maybe on Sunday I will take the night off or day off and I'll veg, because it's been so long. I think I need a vacation. I'm pretty sure I need a vacation. I don't know who I am or where I am or what day it is anymore. Just saying.
Thursday. It's Slamfire and chicken night.
No chicken tonight.
What? You messed up your days.
I know,
Chicken
right?
night.
I had chicken last night, although I have chicken every night. Anyways, so yeah, maybe I'll take a vacation soonish. Anyways, okay, that's it. Let's get into upcoming events. Upcoming events is sponsored by Telos Alpha. It's the Canadian digital agency that works exclusively with Firearms Vertical. They help with business processes, strategic planning, websites, e-commerce, and battling the stigma the industry carries with banks, merchant processors, and social media. Learn more at telosalpha.com. So we have some upcoming Maple Seeds with tickets available. So Lloydminster and Drumheller. Is Lloydminster and Drumheller, are they still available?
They're going to be open Toot Sweet here.
Yeah, I see that you put them on there.
Couple days.
So the one that we put out, not last night before, for Crumlin in London, that sold out literally in 2 minutes. When it went out to people, I watched it tick, tick, and done.
Nice.
So I'm going, all right. And there's a lot of people that are emailing me about waitlist. You can add yourself to the waitlist for it, but I'm not sure that you're going to get in. So just saying. All right. Go to mapleseedrifleman.com. You can check out the events that are there that are available, but a lot of them are sold out as well.
I think there's going to be some in BC. They're going to be added right away, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Rick's going out there and trying to get that all squared away with our sheep boss Darren. That's in BC, but they're just also they've been impacted by those damn fires. You know,
I bet I know someone at the Kelowna range that maybe Rick should talk to about
maybe.
getting a
Yeah.
maple seed out there. Yeah.
All right. So anything going on with these new restrictions in Alberta? It says it doesn't impact maple seed,
No.
but is it impacting any of your events that are happening?
No.
Okay. All right.
Outdoor events, no impact. We got the vaccine passports now, but I think that's for like restaurants or something. Outdoor events, not so much.
Okay. Kyle, do you want to talk about Quinnell's?
Sure.
There's someone
Quinnell
talking-
is holding a 2-gun competition and night shoot November 6th and 7th. So Adriel and I will have to talk. Maybe we can carpool out there.
Carpool out there. Is it warm enough? Is it warm enough to shoot in November out there? I got enough lights to put on guns.
Well, that's where I'm lacking is I don't have the lights. I have one light, so I need to find another light.
Oh, tell you what,
And-
I've been asking like Claris and Nightcore and that kind of thing for flashlights. They've been sending them. So if you need flashlights, I got a guy who's got some couple flashlights.
You know a guy, do you?
Mhm.
Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, Quinnell, beginning of November, it's a toss-up, but I've shot 3-gun at New Year's, so in -20, which
I've
sucked,
shot in
but it was still
November
fun.
and December in Edmonton. I have to imagine that Quinnell will be nicer weather than Edmonton, right?
Potentially. It's still mountainous, so
What's the drive?
Okay. Dress for it. You both wear snowsuits, okay?
True.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's
Not that we
November.
enjoy it, but
It's in the middle of nowhere in the mountains. And it's going to be cold. Just wear
A 9-hour drive.
All right.
from Edmonton. That's not bad.
Yeah. There's not really a way to stop over in Grand Prairie on the way. It's not exactly. We can meet in Jasper.
I was gonna say, figure out a way to meet in Hinton or Jasper.
You guys, after the show, you can plan your itinerary. Right?
But there might be other listeners who want to go to the same thing. We'll get a couple of people.
Yeah.
We'll put them all in the battle van.
Saskatchewan
if
and
anybody
get a bus.
from Saskatchewan or Alberta would like to travel with Kyle and Adriel, please send them a private message. Thank you. There, that's how you do that.
Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome. All right, ready for Kevin?
Sure.
Okay. From Kevin S. Thunder Bay Combat Club, or TBCC, is holding their next Ipsec match on Sunday, September 26th at the Nalalu. Okay. As usual, we'll be shooting 4 stages plus 1 qualifier, bringing 100 rounds to be safe. And the match fee is $20 prepaid on practice score or $25 for walk-on. So if you are going to be holding a match and you want us to talk about it, send it to us like Kevin S. did, and we'll be happy to do that for you. And we'll also have a Bonneville Ipsec match. That's I'm
just putting that in there right now. So I'm on their mailing list, and they seem to be doing it every other week. They have these little Ipsec practices. If you're in the Bonneville or like somewhere in the in-between Alberta and Saskatchewan, kind of in the middle area, Bonneville runs these bi-weekly, it seems, Ipsec practices. I would get on those because they're inexpensive. Are they free? I don't know. Like I've been to a couple of them, and the last time I was in Bonneville, they had one on the same day. I was like, oh man, I wish I knew how to grab my belt. But check those out if you're in the area.
Cool.
Perfect. Everybody's talking about my cooking at steak night, and everybody loved it. Ruffled grouse, and I'm officially the Slamfire mom. Why not? I'm also the maple seed mom as well as everybody else's mom.
CCFR mom and CCFR mom.
How did I get that old?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can be the mom for the CCFR.
I just turned around and everybody is like, "Oh, my babies have grown up." Push them out of the nest. I like pushing people around. Ladies' Day, stay tuned. We have some more that are coming up as well. We'll talk about that. Mighty Peace River, October 2nd and 3rd. Do you want to talk about that there, Kyle?
Sure. This will be the last week I bring it up because registration deadline is Sunday, but Mighty Peace 3-gun team match is in Peace River, first weekend in October 2nd, 3rd. $160 per 2-person team, and there are currently 22 teams registered.
Sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, so getting those numbers up. Contact Stevo on Mighty Peace 3-gun page on Facebook to register. Laid and registries, bottle of rum must accompany your registry. I come out. A bunch of us, like, I don't know when I'm heading out. I know a bunch of people are heading out the Thursday, spend all day Friday, and then we'll shoot Saturday, Sunday. It's just a big party, basically, and a 3-gun match breaks out. So, and speaking of which, I need to design a shotgun stage for that because I volunteered to design a shotgun stage.
Somersault.
So there will be a Death Star out there as well. I'll bring my Death Star out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for events, guys. So let's get into the news. All right. But before that, we do that. I'm not doing the banners or whatever the news. So why don't we bring up the firearms rights court case update? So I know that in the main topic we're going to be talking about a little bit, but there are some updates on that as well. They posted the Ccfr versus Canada September 22nd case management conference. So there was a case management conference that happened yesterday in date. So the Ccfr as well as other applicants. They have to file and serve all remaining affidavits by October 1st. These are the things that they've been directed to do. All respondents' affidavits must be filed by December 10th. New case management conference will be held early in December. So that's just basically means that there will be a case conference between everybody. Cross-examination of all the affidavits are going to be happening by January 21st. So you can see that this case is moving forward quite quickly. Motions recorded by everybody are filed by everybody by February 21st. All respondents' motions recorded by April 1st. Affidavits in reply to interveners' application. So what that means is anybody can apply to be interveners. So for example, some of the people that we don't want to be interveners will probably file for that. The applications have to be in by April 8th, and there's actually a whole list of this. So guys, if you want to look at this list, we'll put it in the show notes, but it's also on the Ccfr website as well. So while you're there, go and read this. It gives you a breakdown of what to expect. The last piece of it is they're expecting likely late summer or fall of 2022 to be a 5-day hearing, basically. So, but they've already been told some of the dates that things have to be scheduled by. Go and have a look at that. That being said, the legal fund donations, it's more important than ever to start donating towards this because, hey, the election happened and we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. So go on over to this Ccfr while you're reading this. Go and become a member or renew your membership, and also send some money. Send an EMT to finance at firearmsrights.ca or donate at firearmsrights.ca, or go to the donate button and click on that. You can also donate money that way as well, because the OIC challenge is going to be a little expensive, and that's basically our best shot, or the only shot we have currently right now. So any thoughts on that, guys?
So summer next year?
Summer. It's going to be
at the earliest. That's the schedule right now. Other stuff might get in the way.
Right. So there might be some motions that put it into place. Like, for example, they might file for an extension of the amnesty because
I think they've already filed for an injunction on that. April 11th, I think they're hearing that.
Yeah. So
I think that's a big one for me, is just the outcome of that.
Right. And the reason is
now that they actually have a full court schedule.
Right. And the reason is because we only had 2 years amnesty, and it was April, or in place as of May 1st, right? A year ago. So that'll be the 2-year date. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments on it besides socks? Go donate.
Sucks. We have to continue going through with it.
Mm-hmm. All right. New gun stuff. So new gun stuff is sponsored by Bolt Action Coffee. Slamfire is a brand ambassador for Bolt Action Coffee. Has anybody ordered the new stuff that's coming out? They're putting out another limited edition of November 11th coffee. You guys going to order it?
Yeah, I'll order it. I haven't ordered any yet, but I will.
You should. You need to.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me after the show. Anyways, the coffee is roasted in small batches. It really is some of the best coffee that you can get here in Canada. It's also veteran owned, so go over and do it. You can have it sent to your house by going to boltactioncoffee.com and use the discount code SLAMFIRE, all one word, capital letters, and tell them we sent you. order the new stuff because it's limited edition. It's a little Gucci. We call it Gucci because it's a little expensive, but it's worth it. All the money is donated back to veterans in our community. So go do it. All right, new gun stuff. Let's take that away, Adriel.
Yeah, you bet. So the first one I want to show is this new Double Alpha 550 mini case feeder. So the 550 is popular because it's one of the more inexpensive Dillons that still uses like full size dies, unlike the square deal. But it's not like go fast like the 650 or like the 1050 or anything like that. But it doesn't mean you can't just add a couple of things on it to make it really go fast. So Fast Toys has the mini case feeder. It's not bad considering $200 and feeds cases.
Pretty good.
Pretty reasonable. To use the case feeder with 300 blackout, you just need to Dremel some stuff. Neat. I love it. Cool.
Yeah. I actually watched the video and he said you could use it for 223.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the video. I watched the Double Alpha video that was on that GunNet's post and he said up to 223. Like, I love it. It's a game changer for the 550.
Very, very
Adriel he had Adriel at Dremel. Right?
Yeah. You're you know me.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So that's the Double Alpha, and you can get those at Fast Toys for $212. I don't know how Fast Toys prices their stuff. They've always got like really weird pricing. 212.14 for the price on that one. I don't care as long as they're inexpensive. And then the next one I wanted to show is S&J is going to have a batch of Beretta 1301 mag tubes made up. So if you want something that's specific for the Canadian market, that is one piece of steel for your 1301, S&J will have that.
Awesome. Tell Simon we said hi. Okay. Alrighty, that's it. Well, let's get into the main topic, shall we?
All right, we are live. And for the main topic, we're speaking with Daniel from Calibre Magazine. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Adriel. Nice to be here.
Yeah, fantastic. So you're from Calibre Magazine. What other kind of things do you have on the go? And maybe let our listeners and viewers know about Calibre Magazine, because some of them might be living under a rock. Maybe they've never heard of it.
So Calibre's been it for the last 10 years. I had my start in automotive journalism. I graduated high school in 2003 and then went right into working at car magazines, worked through university there. After the recession, obviously, the automotive industry took a little bit of a kicking. So I thought, after that, I should go into the stability of the firearms industry with print media, no less. So I did. And it's been 10 years of that now. And that's the full-time thing. This latest few weeks, we've been pretty distracted with this gun vote effort that we did, which was a strategic voting engine, analyzing some of the ridings and trying to find ridings where there were enough gun owners that we might be able to influence the outcome. Ultimately, voter turnout in this election was the story of the day, and people just didn't go. It wasn't, we didn't see the results we wanted from it, obviously. The result we wanted, I don't think is anyone's surprise. So that was kind of the last little bit. And now I'm back to, we're going to print here in, I guess 3 weeks or so now. So I'm back to just getting the content in and working on photography edits and layouts and ads and all the normal stuff. So
I see. Cool. What kind of content is going into the next issue here? Or is that top secret?
Well, obviously I'm hoping your headphone review will be in there because I'm a bit, I'm a new dad, but I'm also a pretty avid motorcyclist and whatnot, and track day enthusiast of all sorts. And I take PPE pretty seriously. And I think ear pro is something that a lot of shooters just kind of gloss over. Like I watch guys just throw orange foamies in their ears wrong most of the time. And it's like, oh man, you'll pay for that. I've lost hearing from working in this industry. It's a serious issue. So that's hopefully one. The other one is the part 2 of another big one, obviously, is the part 2 on how Uzi Gal ended up building his submachine gun in Ontario, his last submachine gun, the 201. And the follow along to that is we have a writer that's been working quite closely with a historian and how Bill Ruger ended up buying that design and spending like 25 years or something just farting around with it, trying to make it into the perfect little police carbine that just one of those kind of like letting perfection be the enemy of the good. And it's like, so it's pretty interesting stuff. We have a used gun, obviously, our normal used gun reviews and stuff like that. I think we have a couple of things. There's a handgun review in there. I can't remember what that one is. Oh, Beretta 92X, I think. But we got a bunch of stuff in the calendar that's kind of, it's hard to keep track of because it's kind of this is the time of year where we're wrapping up this year's content and trying to schedule out all of next year's. So it's kind of oh God, there's so much.
Yeah, exactly. And where can people find the magazine? Like where can you buy it? Is it subscription only? Can you buy it in stores?
You can get it in stores. So we send it out to, I believe, 160 something retailers. It's mostly independent retailers. So like not Cabela's, Canadian Tire and stuff like that. They actually don't want it there because it has ads for the independent retailers in it. Now, the independent retailers we send it to don't have a problem with that, oddly enough, which is why people should always buy their guns from independent retailers. But yeah, so most of your independent family-run shops here in Vancouver or down in Vancouver, that would be the Reliable Guns, the Wand Stalls, that type of stuff. Otherwise, you can go to calibремag.ca/subscribe and get it for it's $30, and we will mail you 6 copies directly to your door every 2 months. So, well, 1 copy every 2 months leads to 6 annually. Should be good. You will not get 6 magazines every 2 months. That would, I'd be dead.
If the math checks out, I think that'll work. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. That's for a specialty magazine like that. And of course, you've got the website as well, where you've got a lot of content on there, right?
Yeah, and that's, I think, the big thing that anyone listening and thinking about it, the money just goes back around to the content because we try and kind of maintain the position. I mean, for my own personal interest in the firearms hobby is largely like I got into it with sporting clays and trap shooting and shotgun sports, largely because that was the only accessible shooting sport near where I lived. But as I get further into the hobby and as I've been in it now for 15, 16 years, I think, shooting and professionally doing this for 10. My own personal interest is trending more towards the historian type stuff. And I've really struggled when I'm writing a lot of my historical content, specifically on Canadian content. I struggle to get it. I struggle to find out the stuff. Like when you go like, oh, what's the history of Cooey? I don't know. Where was it? Coburg. Okay, well, where was the factory in Coburg? You have to dig so hard to get to this stuff. So
anything pre-internet. Anything pre-internet's impossible. I was trying to find... there's I don't even know if it's an urban myth. There's a myth around why the Valmet got skipped over. I've heard it. I was looking for information to see if it was true. Couldn't find anything.
And that's where you get, everyone's heard the mythical tale of the gun digest that was marked up by the Kim Campbell Liberal Committee. And there's supposedly a page that says the AK is bad because it's the Rambo gun. And that's supposed to be in some gun shop somewhere. Someone's got a copy of it. But that's one side. But even within our own community, we struggle because our Blake Stevens has been a tremendous asset to the firearms community for a long time. Canadian author, wrote a ton of books, was kind of the preeminent gun historian for a long time. Canadian guy passed away. His wife, unfortunately, the interest just isn't there. And a lot of those books are going to come out of publication. Like you said, once that stuff, if it doesn't transfer onto the internet at some point, it disappears, right? So I'm kind of trying to do that. And that's what we do with all the subscription dollars is just pay folks like Adriel to write articles that people might want to read about and hopefully add to the historical relevancy of our community.
I don't have anything historically relevant for articles.
We'll see. We'll get you there. I'm eyeing up a little Ross Cadet, 1912 Cadet 22.
Ooh.
Might send that to someone out and go, hey, learn some history stuff. So,
yeah, I think the oldest gun I've got right now is from 39, and that's my grandma's 22 that she gave me. And that's, but I can't say that. I've got a World War I 303 as well. But I don't know.
I think mine is... I think probably my Mauser. I got that 1900 Mauser that's all restored that was on the cover a little while ago. But I'm thinking about actually selling that, honestly. Pretty gun, but I don't shoot it. It's too pretty.
I don't. That's typically what happens with mine. I buy, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Okay, now I'm going to sell it. And the only thing I keep are my competition guns or like just the heirlooms that I can't get rid of, or my ancestors will do something bad to me. But I guess one of the other things we were talking about just before the show started here was, so the vote happened. Liberals got a minority government. They had promised a whole bunch of crazy stuff in their platform. Some of it fairly impactful, some of it stuff that we already kind of have? What's your take on it? What do you think is going to happen over the next, let's say, 18 months? Let's pick that number out of the air or by random and see what do you think we could happen over that time?
I mean, in the broader scheme of things, I've got a whole different prognostication, but in terms of gun ownership in this country, I think honestly, it's tricky to say because politics, everyone discusses politics from the perspective of the snapshot in time. Where are we currently looking at? Or retrospectively, where were we in the election? Everyone's talking about the election result. We're already days removed from that. It's irrelevant already. Politics is a stream. It's always moving. It's fluid. People have already responded to the election. People that may have voted a certain way already feel differently about their vote today. So I think it's important to consider as we move forward, obviously as a community of gun owners, to take a pretty rational view of things and kind of go take stock, basically, and go where we're at right now. We've got the OIC, which is basically stalled in the courts. And this is where I would prefer someone like Enoch would be much better to talk about this stuff of what the legality is with regards to the OIC still being before the courts and potentially the amnesty expiring while it is still before the courts. I can't see how we'd legally be required to submit guns for an OIC that is currently being debated before the courts. So I don't know how that will work and I can't speak to it, but the OIC certainly does stall a lot of effort in that regard. They can't just start doing stuff. Now, the more important issue that gun owners need to recognize is that from here on out, what's going on is a lot of internal politics. The Trudeau Liberals will not consider this a win. If anything, the Conservatives in the days after the election are starting to recognize this as a win, because I think I and many people listening to this will agree that when Justin Trudeau called this election, none of us were optimistic about a Conservative Party victory. If you had said, Aaron O'Toole's going to win, I would have been like, really? Okay, cool. Sweet. What are you on? But it got better. And that's, I think, disappointment. We all saw it kind of go up and then the disappointment slump at the end.
Yeah.
Nothing is worse than clutching defeat from the jaws of victory, but it wasn't really that much of a defeat. He didn't lose much. If you start to look at a lot of those GTA ridings and you start to get down into the actual nitty gritty electoral math of, well, if you go, Ontario, they lost by about 4%. So if you go, well, if they had 2% more in a bunch of those GTA ridings, I think it gives them 50 more ridings or so in the Toronto area, at least 10 in the Toronto area. If they get 2% more, and then how does that translate in Quebec and the Vancouver area? Does that suddenly get them to now they're in the lead again? Yeah, potentially it does. So it's not the crushing defeat that it feels like. It's not the victory we wanted, but it's just almost a tie for where Conservatives were. Now where the Liberals were, they saw a step back. They saw a pullback. There wasn't much support. Their vote went down. And as a result, Jagmeet Singh as well, I think a pretty good guy. I don't have a axe to grind with the guy, but he's not returning numbers that Tom Mulcair nor Jack Layton did, and a lot of those old school Charlie Angus type NDP guys might be starting to look for someone that can return more reliable numbers. So internally, Justin Trudeau is looking at probably by now what we can actually say is succession planning, realistically. And the Conservatives, Aaron O'Toole's asked for his leadership review, and I think that's where we have to, as gun owners, turn our attention now is what's next for the people that do support us. Should we be reaching out to the NDP and trying to say, hey, you know what, you guys are a blue collar party. How are you not getting seats in rural areas? Oh yeah, it's because you've got a terrible gun policy. Should we be reaching out to the Conservative Party and saying, like, this is the guy that we're running with? Now that's the debate that I think gun owners have to have. And I think ultimately that's where we're at. But also, too, more to your point, because I rambled so freaking long, I don't think a whole lot will happen because these internal politics and this internal strife that goes on at like literally a caucus level, where you might have an individual member from an individual riding who is kind of a thorn in the side for one of these individual leaders and causing problems. That'll take up a lot of time. So I don't expect that we're going to see a lot of movement on this unless there is a high profile crime. And that's always the second there's a high profile shooting, man, there's the political catalyst. They'll do everything that they've wanted to, and every single other party will support them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess there's a couple of things from legislation that's already in place that's a little bit troubling that they could just deploy and make things either a mild pain in the butt for us or a major pain in the butt, depending on where in the country you are, right? And in terms of helping those cities ban handguns, whichever way that's going to happen, or the OIC. But I think I would hope that for the OIC, we're able to get the appeal on and stay on that, so that if we can see what happens with the court battle, right?
Yeah, and I think Minority governments typically don't last very long. It's 450 something days, the average minority government in Canada. It's not long. This one lasted a lot longer because of COVID, and they had the emergency powers, so they could operate largely as a majority. We won't see that this time. And people brought that up in the previous election. Said, "Oh, it's a minority; they don't last, etc." And then COVID, kind of blew the world up. But we kind of have to go back. We can't let that impact and be like, "Oh, it's just gonna be that again." No, I think the House, the result returned was largely the same electorally. Like, you probably have the same MP you did before, but it doesn't feel the same. Like I said, I think I put a comment where, and I said it in another thing of this election was really kind of window dressing for the next one. This one's set up. No one was, unless someone was going to get a strong result, which it was pretty apparent no one was going to. It's going to be kind of asking for a reset. I also don't know. I mean, there are serious questions that if gun owners are looking for reasons to feel good right now, here's some. Can Trudeau win a majority? Yeah. Those are questions that the Liberal Party is asking itself right now. Can he win another majority? I mean, just twice. He can't. I don't think he can.
Yeah.
Well, for the next election, there's going to be a lot of fallout from COVID, whether it be inflation or affordability that are going to be problems because of just the damage that it does to the economy and the damage that governments do when they try to handle this kind of thing, right?
So that's my big prognostication. Is I honestly think between the economy, we're 1 quarter into a recession. Well, not a recession. We're 1 quarter down. GDP shrunk in the last quarter, and the first month of the fourth quarter was already showing a shrinkage. So 2 quarters in a row with shrinkage in GDP is a formal recession. So we may see recession headlines around Christmas. Inflation, obviously, double the estimate unexpectedly. So that will probably continue. I actually kind of expect that we'll see Trudeau actually, this is my wild ass guess, so hold me to it at your leisure. I think he's going to take a walk in the snow sometime around Christmas. I think he's going to say that the dealing with the COVID crisis and saving all of our lives has been very hard on his family. He's going to have to take time away to deal with that. And I think he's going to hand the reins off to Chrystia Freeland. And I think the rest of the parties right around January are going to see that as a massive attempt to rebrand the Liberal Party. And they'll pounce on that as an opportunity for an election. And I suspect that we're casting ballots again before next summer.
So he's already said 18 months if he doesn't get a majority. We already knew that, but we also know that with the turnout for the election and the results, that all of the parties will be going and basically they'll be going and looking at new leadership for each of the parties. And you're absolutely right. He's already making waves about setting up Chrystia Freeland for the next leader of the Liberals. So yeah, I believe that too. I'm not sure it's going to be in January, but I know it's going to be soon, or that's my feeling as well, based on the conversations that I've had. So yeah, I think that you're on the right track there. And I don't think anything's going to be enacted right away. One of the reasons is because, again, like you just said, some of the leaders did not show well, like Anna May Paul, as well as saying he didn't do as well as they had hoped. And also they're going to have because they're a minority, they're going to have the support of those other parties, and they're going to be going in and electing new leaders, basically. Yeah. Or going to. Yeah, so
it could have been a lot worse. Like most of the provincial governments, when they did their elections during COVID, they took strong majorities. Except for Nova Scotia, but that happened after the feds announced this thing. So like going into it, as soon as he announced it, I was like, here comes the majority, because everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's during COVID, gotta leave the captain steering the ship, can't change captains midway, but. I was kind of pleased to see it just being like, nope, you just get a minority, and that's all you get.
Well, essentially, it was $610 million spent on exactly the way it was.
The only concern, though, and this is the biggest flank that's been opened up for gun owners in this, is that a lot of conservative pundits, including people in the Conservative Party, are going to be looking at this election's results and saying that it swung on the gun issue. And they will incorrectly attribute the swing to the issue of guns and not the handling of it. And I read, there's a fantastic article from Matt Gurney where he interviews a Conservative Party insider today. Totally recommend reading it. Good post-mortem that goes through all the issues that they sort of confronted. And one of them they just addressed was that they don't know how to communicate on guns. And they absolutely don't. I mean, they don't have I mean, Fred DeLore, they love to point out that Fred DeLore was an NFA lobbyist, but it was for 3 years. He's a professional lobbyist. He does this for a living. He's worked for numerous groups. 3 years at the NFA does not necessarily, I mean, I'm not an expert on gun politics.
Well, let's be
I've
real.
been covering it for 10 years, you know, like.
Dan, let's be real. He was tainted in the last election. Maybe tainted is a bad word. But it wasn't a good thing in the last election. And it was, again, linked to O'Toole in this election. And people actually have long memories on some things. And it was brought up. But we also know that there was reasons why the first debate was held in Montreal. And they didn't have anything else for O'Toole. And the gun issue was one big one. Obviously, they turned it around because the Conservatives were in quite a substantial lead going into the French language debate. And then the French language debate brought up guns, and then also the response, which he had to actually respond to, basically flipping, and then that lost his core demographic, or essentially those hardliners in the core demographic. And that, again, made people think about some of the other parties that were available to them. The other parties.
I wonder. I would be really curious to see a survey on when if they were to survey people on like why they voted the way they voted, because we're talking about guns because the news was talking about guns, because the liberals are talking about guns. Do people actually care, or do they care about other stuff? I assume that they do their homework, and this polls well, and that's why they hammer on it, right? But so like that's like looking at a business and saying, okay, they're marketing at an NHL arena. They must be doing that because it works. And I'm in marketing, and I know that plenty of businesses do that because they just want to appear like they got a big swinging dick, and it doesn't do anything for them.
So those people that consistently vote conservative, that maybe are non-gun owners, because there's a lot of conservatives that are non-gun owners. The other parties were trying to use some of the pandemic, and they did it successfully, some of the pandemic measures to swing people over from the Conservatives over to another party. That's it.
Sure.
No.
But they like the Conservatives pulled away some from the left. They left a little bit on the right for the PPC to pick up.
Yeah.
I mean, Leger and Angus do public polling on the issues beforehand, and they're the primary, and I think they're still the internal primary pollsters for a lot of this stuff. But ultimately, they found that pre-election, and this is where guns are an asymmetric issue. When you actually poll the general public and say, you know, when you drop a ballot in the box, what's the most important thing to you? It is always healthcare, the economy. It's number one and number two. And guns never even ranks within the top 15. The highest we've seen it was 12th at one point. This was like back in 2011, I think. Right. This election, it wasn't in the top 15, but by the midway point when Aaron was tanking, the assault weapon ban was the number one reason for voters in Toronto, as polled, not to support the Conservatives. So it becomes a thing where they won't vote for it, but it becomes a reason not to support someone. Right. And that's where it demonstrates itself as a communications problem masquerading as a policy problem. Okay. Because we don't have a policy problem. As many people die from lightning.
Right. So so during the election, again, it was a 38-day election, shortest one ever. But what we also saw is after those, we saw the Liberal candidates in their ridings, and Twitter was just full of it, as well as other social media like Facebook, was full of specifically the guns, and that the Conservatives were going to bring back the assault weapons. So there's nothing about the economy. There was nothing about whether there was going to be a tax increase, or that we're in a recession, or that there was a little bit with respect to, you know, the Liberals saying that they're not going to be putting a tax on home sales. But what every single one of them was putting on their Twitter feeds or on their Facebook was O'Toole's going to be bringing back assault weapons. That's it.
It felt very much like sheer and abortion all over again.
Yeah.
Where it's just bouncing back and forth, and it's kind of like no one's providing clarity.
What's the real issue? The real issue is in assault weapons, because there is.
And I think that's where it exposed the communications problem.
Right. The real issue is our economy. Nobody cared about the economy. They cared about making sure that the OIC wasn't reversed. So that's it.
And I wish that he'd been able to pivot, because I think if he'd had a good comms brief on this file, he would have been able to pivot so immediately to, okay, Mr. O'Toole, are you going to ban the air? Are you going to uphold the ban that Trudeau passed last year? No, because the ban he passed last year are not assault weapons. They're firearms that are very rarely used in crime, and it'll cost us $1.7 billion. As many people are killed by lightning as firearms in this country and homicides, it's simply not a policy issue right now. I want to dedicate our resources towards blank. And now you can pivot. Now you're bringing up housing, mental health, underfunded stuff.
So that's what he chose to deflect and step away from it. And what happened was he said, okay, here's how we're going to target this. We're going to actually increase funds for the border control as well as smuggled guns. And that's what he talked about. And that's how he tried to divert or get around the subject. He didn't want to talk about it because he didn't actually want it to be a talking point like it was after the election, or after the French debate. What happened was we, as gun owners, we brought it forefront as much as other people did.
Oh, yeah.
Like we were our own worst enemies. We literally shot ourselves in the foot.
I mean, full disclosure, now that it's all behind us, that article that I wrote on it when he changed his stance, and I said, everyone get angry, write a letter to your conservative candidate, but recognize they're still our best option. Mm-hmm. That was written for two reasons. One, it's a chance for gun owners to exert power. Email any chance I have to tell gun owners, go and email the people in government. I'll take it. So second of all, you can clearly see that Aaron O'Toole is looking for distance. Like he's looking for distance between the gun community and himself when he makes these claims. When he says, no, I'm going to uphold UIC, he's going, I don't want to be affiliated with them right now. Right. So be publicly angry. Say he's stabbing us in the back, because otherwise it just bleeds into that. No, he is just working with the gun lobby. He's gaslighting us and dog whistling them with his, diversive language about not assault.
No, he's trying to he's trying to ignore. He's trying to push it to the side, so he's not making it an issue because he knows who his core demographic is as well.
Yeah, I think also too, though, it's a lack of, to be honest, just a lack of willingness to take the issues head on. I think that the Conservative Party campaign, the OLO, needs to basically every morning start their day with Pierre Trudeau's footage of Just Watch Me and take that attitude out into the campaign trail and say, like, no, we have plans. We've consulted experts. We have campaigns. It is, but you got to be. He also won. I mean, Trudeau said, because
okay, if your name's Trudeau, you're going to win. Let's just be real. Okay, so let's move on. Let's find somebody else who won that isn't Trudeau, because
anyone that's bold,
we're going to hang up on you.
Anyone that's bold, right? Like you have to be a little bit bold. I think the best example of this is 2015 election, right?
At the election during the English debate, he was just bold and just told everybody off. And if we had somebody like, he doesn't want to be prime minister, he just wants to take care of Quebec. But if we had somebody who wanted to take care of Canada that way, they might actually win.
Exactly. And that's, I think, it's policy. I think this is to get into the absolute 10,000 square foot level. I think this is basically a failing of policy by polling, where they've gone to effectively focus groups and committees to develop policy, and it's sucked the soul out of wanting to lead. I mean, if you want to be the prime minister, you have to have a fire in your belly and you have to have a desire. Like, you got to be able to say, in 4 years, I want to do this. I'm going to have an impact. If you don't have that.
There's going to be people who are going to have fire in their soul and impact and want to do impact and everything. And they do it they do it because they actually have that fortitude, and they want to help the country and they want to guide the country. But let's be real, the people who get elected aren't those people. The people that get elected are shifty as shit. Just saying.
I think sometimes you see, like, some of them can conjure it, like the Pierre Poilievres of the world, the Maxime Berniers. They can conjure this deep-seated desire to. Max
didn't win a seat, and Pierre stepped back. So, and he didn't want to run for the party this time. So
no, you can see it in the moments. Like, it's the moments where they do stand up and go toe to toe to someone and say, like, no, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to acquiesce, because there's so much acquiescing to modern day. A reporter asks a hard question, like Aaron O'Toole, are you going to keep these guns banned? And he acquiesces because he's scared of the answer he's got. The experts have told him this is the correct policy, and he just doesn't. It's the personal stress of having to take the heat. We need someone.
I don't know if that was. That. I think that maybe he was. I think maybe, yeah. So some of the people in the background have said to him, you know what? Just divert and let's look at what the actual facts are.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they did their electoral math and said the GTA ridings that we're polling that we need to flip 2% don't like this stuff.
Right.
But I don't think anyone liked his answer better. Like, I think, honest to God, if you go back in time and go, if he just said, no, I am going to give those guns back because it's a $1.7 billion waste of money. So instead of wasting the money there, I'm going to go spend it in mental health in Surrey and Toronto. I don't think that answer plays worse than what he got. And it buys him 3 more days on the campaign trail where he could have talked about affordability and other issues.
So here's a question. If he didn't flip-flop, if he stuck to convictions, said yes, and pivoted like you were suggesting, which do you think would have hurt more, sticking with repealing the OIC and sticking to the guns in his conviction, pivoting it like you were saying, or even not even just pivoting it like you said, just sticking to your convictions? Which do you think hurt him more? The not sticking to the convictions, because we've seen him flip-flop a couple times on a few different issues, or was it? Yeah.
I mean, given the vote result is effectively the CPC base, with the vote turnout that we got, you can say that they basically got everyone that always votes CPC voted CPC this time. So given that, you can kind of take the candidate almost out of the equation. Said they just did what they do. The party did what the party does, and the candidate largely didn't influence this positively or negatively. So with that said, I think he probably would have done better because this is I don't have the data. I'm sure that Fred Delory is screaming somewhere going, no, you didn't see the polls, buddy, like shut up. But effectively, I kind of feel like there was a lot of polls around the issues of trust this election, Trudeau not having it, his ethics scandals, whether or not people wanted this election in the first place. So when you set the stage with all that stuff, you're really looking for people are looking to elect a politician who they can trust, who's going to be square, straight up, tell them the straight goods, not bullshit, that kind of thing. That's where I do think if he had just said no, and I'm not going to because here's the following reasons. Everyone that owns those guns gets a daily criminal record check. It's going to cost $2 billion, et cetera, et cetera. I think that would have played out better because up until that point, he had successfully done a great job of playing the well-versed, intelligent, unafraid policy nerd. Where, Aaron, you're talking about privatizing healthcare. Well, wait, no, actually, hang on a sec. I'm talking about adding it. He didn't shy away from that. He wasn't, if you're not scared to wade into the healthcare issue, which is so freaking complicated, I don't know why he was afraid to just say because when everyone asks him the question, this is where I feel like he didn't have an expert. He needs an expert to literally say the first words out of your mouth have to be this because that's a soundbite. It has to be, no, I will not support the confiscation of semi-automatic rifles from people that get daily criminal record checks to keep them at a cost of over probably $2 billion to Canadians. That's more than we spend subsidizing the RCMP federally. There's your soundbite. Now it's not a question. Now people are going, Mr. Trudeau, why are you banning these guns? It's going to cost more than the RCMP stimulus does every year. What? Why? Why don't we just double the RCMP or, I don't know, add port police to stop any of the drugs?
I think that if we had switched the English debate and the Quebec debate, the dates and the times and the questions, that there might have been a different outcome.
Maybe
this election
affordability would have been good. It would have been good to talk more about affordability. I think it's probably going to be the thing that people regret the most over the next couple of years is not getting a government in that was more concerned about affordability.
Yep.
And I think in 2 years' time, I hope it reaches a boiling point of people pissed off about affordability.
Well, Dan's absolutely right. We're headed into a recession. We're going to be seeing the sustainability of housing. It's not going to be happening. People aren't going to be able, homelessness, everything. We're not going to be able to basically by Christmas time.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Christmas time is when you get all the consumer debt headlines or the thing that they were running around Christmas time already, right? They love to talk about credit card debt at Christmas time.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm old enough to remember a couple of the really bad times where mortgage rates were almost 20%, and I'm thinking that we might even be headed in that direction soon if we can't turn things around.
Yeah, they'll probably inflate it away. They'll inflate it away before they do that.
Oh, I hope. Oh, God. Anyways,
this is so uplifting.
I know, right?
No, it is. It is.
This is why you guys talk about alcohol so much on the podcast. You need to get through it. Gee, we'll be drug addicted, homeless, but we might have a cooey.
Yeah, I think. Well, so 2 years. Let's say it takes 2 years. Let's say it doesn't happen by Christmas. It happens by Christmas. Like God help us. But let's say it takes 2 years. The country's going to be in a worse condition. Ripe for change. I think people don't vote out the leader when the country's doing fantastically. they will vote out the leader if it's doing not so fantastic. And 2 years
And
is
that's, I think,
about
where-
right. 1 to 2 years is about right for this whole thing to blow up. All the debt and all the.
I can't handle that. I'm going to be moving to Texas, man.
You have a solid job. Don't worry about it.
I'm moving to Texas.
Someone else will feel the heat for the next 2 years, and then we'll get real change and potentially real change that can help us.
I hope so, and I hope that. I mean, the one thing, and this is, not to delve into that other party that we haven't talked about, but I mean, you can only ask for votes, never owed to you. But nonetheless, you also have a responsibility as a voter, and I absolutely do not have a problem with people using their vote as a form of self-expression. But you're an adult. You live in a country with a Westminster-style parliamentary system. You should be responsible enough to do a little bit of research into how that works and how you interact with it. Like, that's a really basic thing. You shouldn't just rock up and be like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Think, if that's what you're doing, do a little bit of Googling.
A lot of people don't know or understand how the election process works here in Canada at all.
It's very hard to build something, and it's very easy to have it torn down, is how this system works in Canada. That's why we've only ever had the Tories and the Grits as our leaders for 150 plus years, is because it's really hard to build a new party in this country, and it's really easy to tear them down when you do, because you're effectively splitting the vote no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am dating myself. I am that old. Okay. And you're absolutely right. The PPC, let's just name them. The PPC, they are not going to be a viable party for even a couple of decades at least. Look at what's happened with the Green Party, NDP as well. So,
will they even survive this?
I'm not sure.
I mean, Max has said he's going to have a leadership review, and I'm wondering if that also means that they're going to start bolting infrastructure onto that party. Like, if they're having a leadership review, maybe people ask questions like, hey, maybe we should have a say on our party policy since we're the members. And as they start adding that infrastructure, it'll just take away what that party is, which is basically a right-wing QRF. Like, it's just a quick, reactive, emotional, like I said, form of self-expression. It was gun owners that got angry instead of gun owners that got angry and thought about what to do.
But who is the backbone of that? So it was gun owners that got angry, but who also bolstered it and gave them a few more votes. Let's be real. They still didn't get 5% of the vote. So they're not going to be, so they have no seats. They don't have a leader that was able to get his seat, obviously, since they have no seat, and they didn't get 5% of the vote. So they're not official. They're not going to be invited to anything for any upcoming elections either.
I thought they got 5% of the vote.
What?
No, I thought they got 5% of the vote. No,
they're still at 4%.
And I feel like, I'm not trying to sound judgmental, because I know some people here in Kelowna that were kind of PPC supporters. None of them are the sort that are going to stick around for things like plenaries. Just going to say it now. That ain't going to happen. So I'm not really sure if it might just kind of lose its momentum as it gains officialness almost, if anything. Because as people start having to be like, what, I gotta work with an EDA to be a PPC now? I may as well just be a CPC guy. This is just big government.
I think that it gained popularity or gained people, and it's based on what we're currently going through. And I'll be honest with you. Canadians are not happy about everything that's been happening in the past year and a half with this pandemic. People are just tired, and I can appreciate that. I'm tired.
Do you think the election would be different if it was held today? If everyone elected, like, just not if that one didn't happen. If we could all just do a redo. If everyone said, you know what, go right back to where you polled, drop another ballot in. We're not really sure how this one went. How do you think that would go?
I think it'd be worse for us because what I see on Reddit and that kind of thing are people like, oh, we lost to, if we only would have voted strategically here, we would have got the conservatives out. So potentially it'd be worse.
I think it actually would have had a little bit of a change in some areas. People would have, NDP might have come out better. I also think that there were some things that were released today that might have had a little bit of an impact on the Liberal votes as well. So
weird that was released today. So strange.
Right? I don't know how that happened. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Ryan Semper said that the PPC is listed as a corporation with no constitution, no policy, convention. No, they haven't, and no. Basically, Max just appointed himself as leader, so no leadership race. So if a leader makes themselves a leader, so he's going into it, makes all the policies and has no accountability through a constitution. What is it? Dictatorship.
So, well, I watched a documentary yesterday on this thing called Lularoe, where people basically paid in to multiple levels of a marketing system, and it had a plan that looked like this. And I think that's kind of similar to what Max is building. It's triangular in structure, and you pay in, and the money just goes up to the people at the top, and then everyone at the bottom just never gets anywhere.
Okay, I'll say it. He needs his salary. He needs his 110, 120,000, and he doesn't have a seat in Parliament. Let's be real.
Or a resume that would get him a job anywhere. Like, you left top secret documents at your girlfriend's house. Like, anyone that's ever handled anything to do with top secret anything, why were they even at his girlfriend's house? Like,
well, there's
He's so small government, he doesn't even believe it when he's in it.
Yeah.
But,
awesome.
Yeah. He is a lawyer. He's been a MP for the Conservatives. He knows Parliament. He knows what he's supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, good chat about politics. Dan, where can people find more about Calibre Magazine?
Oh, Facebook, Twitter, and calibremag.ca. Calibremag.ca, spelled the Canadian way, and the Americans pronounce it Calibre, which is always fun when I go to Shot Show. Hi, I'm here from my name, my ID. Oh, Calibre. See.
I think it's based on Aguila ammo too, right?
I don't complain.
Yeah.
I always get a kick out of there's a German magazine called Calibre as well. Exact same spelling, because obviously German. And we went drinking with those guys last year. That was fun. Those Germans, man. Oof. They put it back.
Don't know anybody that's German. Just saying.
Right. Awesome. Well, definitely. I'm sure it would be easy to sit here and talk for another half hour, an hour about politics and what could be coming for us as gun owners. But we'll have to have you on a different night, Dan, to dig into it a little bit more. But thanks for coming on. And it was definitely a pleasure. Yeah,
awesome to be on it. I've listened to it since, God, it feels like 15 years almost. I remember when episode 1 came out with the little microphone bullet logo, and I was like, that's a cool logo. So it's been a long time. So
sorry about
that. Yeah, no problem. Anytime, man. Now that I got my sweet studio set up too, it's a lot easier.
All right.
Definitely. Yeah. Awesome.
Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Dan.
Later, Dan. Thanks.
Once again, thanks to Dan for coming on and talking about, basically what's happened this week. Maybe we'll have him on again, and hopefully maybe by January, see if what he said comes true. All right.
I don't want to do another election that soon. I hope you guys are wrong.
I don't think it's going to be January. I think it's going to be 1 year from this date.
1 year from now?
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't even want to do that.
October is the new date.
So calling it in the spring or another
the only
5-week election?
Yeah, the only thing that I can see of an election coming up anytime soon is if with a new budget that comes out and there's no confidence vote. That's just my thoughts. Not that I have anything. I don't know anything about politics at all. Just saying.
You know some people who do.
No, I do, but I haven't talked to them about it. But I think that there's a budget that's going to be coming out, and I'm not sure it'll be supported. But I do know that the leaders for the other parties, they're going to be putting in a leadership race that's going to be happening because nobody did very well this election. Nobody. How can nobody do well? Any of the parties do well? Like none of them. They all did crap.
I think that's generally politics, though. You just dislike everyone. You vote for the one you dislike the least.
No, I'm saying that all the parties did poorly this time.
Depends on your perspective.
Anna May didn't win her seat, right? Max didn't win his seat.
Okay. So some parties did poorly
great because they got the more votes.
Right.
Yeah.
And Singh lost seats, and the Conservatives gained some seats ish. But he didn't do well, and he didn't win. So that's going to be a leadership election. So everybody's going to have a leadership election. So just saying. And the minority, the liberal minority, he's going to need the support of other parties to pass anything. Just saying.
Which he'll get.
He will.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only one that's happy right now, I think, is the Bloc Québécois. That's it.
Just doing their own thing. I kind of jealous a little bit. I wish we had an Alberta party that just did whatever they wanted to and just wrecked it for the rest of everyone else. Showed up to the federal party debates and that kind of thing. Picked and choose what they answer, not really caring about all the other stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, I pissed off the other provinces. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so Quebec sets precedence with that, and they are now considered a nation. Why can't Alberta do that? And they use their distinct status as being a francophone province. Alberta can be a distinct society as well because they're all rednecks, right?
I was wondering where your language.
Sorry, Alberta.
It's fitting.
Kidding. I so wanted you guys to laugh, but it's true though. It is a distinct society as well.
Berta.
Berta.
Yeah. Berta.
Yeah. Okay. Listener feedback. Let's get into it. Listener feedback is sponsored by Army DC Gunsmith. By the way, I placed an order with Denis today, actually last night, and he fulfilled it today. My God, that man is so nice. And he also, turnaround time is so quick. So just, anyways. Army DC Gunsmith is full service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, Ccfr finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. I was on there yesterday, and he has some really nice stuff on there right now. So I ordered an optic just to say. Anyways, check out his Facebook page, and you can also follow him on the Instagrams as well. Tell Denis that we said hi. And again, he's a really nice guy, and he listens.
What kind of optic did you order?
Oh, I just ordered a Vortex Crossfire 239
for 3-gun for maple seed
hunting rifle, just a cheap hunting rifle. Yeah,
it's fine.
Anyways, yeah, got a good deal, and again, he's sending it out right away. So super fast service, is wonderful. Tell him we said hi. Anyways, all right. So, Adriel, can you read this email?
Hi, handing out Ccfr pamphlets over the last 3 days. I was watching people's reactions. Costco, shopping mall, residential streets. Some avoid eye contact and you in general. Some seem not to care. Some said they already voted Liberal, but most with the reaction showed a disgust and hate for blackface. Comments like, "Are you kidding me?" or "Not this guy." That was encouraging, but I'll be surprised if the Libs get a boot.
That's from Chris. Anyways, so obviously he wrote this before the election, so we already know what happened. So he is correct, but that's not unusual. We got some of these same reactions from people as well. People, once they got the pamphlet, they were pulling up their signs too. So it was interesting. By the way, the leadership race here in Kingston, it was the closest it's ever been. So, Mark Gerritsen still won, but still, it was the closest it's ever been. He almost lost.
In my riding, it was not even
close.
Yeah,
no.
No. Mine too.
Edmonton Center went Liberal, and Strathcona went NDP, but they call it Redmonton for a reason. And but like the rest of the outlying areas are pretty solidly conservative. A little bit of PPC going on.
Yeah.
I think we were 35,000 votes for the Conservative, and the next one was like 6,000 votes.
Yeah, it's not even close. It's just a blowout in the rural areas.
Why don't we bring this up too here? Don't step in the leadership. Parties are all globalist. Okay.
Yeah, so we were provincial. If Ontario provincial government changes over next year, something might happen to your guys' handguns.
So yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to be happening tomorrow. I know that there's going to be an announcement in Quebec. Let's see what happens there, and then also,
that public yet?
Yeah, they were talking about it. There was a news article that was published today about there being
unprecedented announcement on firearms coming from Quebec.
Yeah,
that was one day ago. Well, maybe I should pull that up because
let me pull it up then.
Yeah, that might be worth talking about.
Yeah, I mean, some of our Quebec listeners might want to know what's coming down. What's coming down is you're probably going to have to sell your handguns for cheap to me and Kyle
in Alberta.
Yeah, that's your only option here. The provincial government will make an important and unprecedented announcement on the issue of firearms. Quebec Public Security Minister Genevieve Guilbeault said on Wednesday. The announcement expected Friday comes as the official opposition at the National Assembly is criticizing the Legault government for what it perceives as inaction on the growing number of firearms-related crimes in the province. Unprecedented announcement on the issue at the end of the week. A spokesperson said the government will allocate funding, but did not say how much or what other resources will be devoted to this file. And that's it.
$1 billion from the federal government.
Billions and billions and billions.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So our Quebec, who is is now officially a nation, why are they getting anything from the federal government when they're
a nation within Canada? When they need stuff, they're not a nation. When they don't need stuff, they are a nation.
Anybody in Quebec, come on over.
See, this is why we need Birdination.
Yeah.
Birdination.
I'm just wondering. It's kind of like, whenever anybody, I'm not saying anything against anybody who's from Quebec. I'm just saying, if you are, I'm taking over for Trevor.
I said it last week, or not last week. I said it earlier today to you guys. I wish actually all the provinces took a cue, maybe not do exactly what they're doing, but the same style, saying, you know what, we're just going to make our own laws and screw you to the federals. And yeah, I think that's be the best course of action across the country.
It would be easier.
Maybe not helpful for the people who live in Quebec or Ontario.
So
what's it? So
Alberta,
what's the announcement going to be? What's it like? We've guessed at a couple things here. What's the announcement going to be?
I dimes to donuts. It's a handgun ban.
Is it a ban or just not approving transfers?
Well, they said they're going to do something major, unprecedented. And in terms of what they could do, so they have their own registry. They could do something weird with that. I don't know that they could ban other things that aren't banned. Like they couldn't just turn around and ban like semi-auto rifles or something like that, because it's not really within their wheelhouse of what they could do. They definitely could ban handguns because that's something that the provinces, I think they can do based on C21.
C21, but C21 died on the floor. So, but it was part of the Liberal. It was part of the Liberal election platform that they were. They said that they were going to be doing that. So they're going to put $1 billion towards that. So
billions.
I think reasonably what's going to happen is no more transfers. So you can't go buy a new gun. You can't sell a gun, and your transport permits are revoked. Until they have figure out how to go and confiscate. I think that's what's going to happen.
That sounds so terrible. It's probably true, because that's exactly what they would need to do. No, it does. Like, well, are they gonna have this like spelled out and figured out? Of course not. They're gonna do something horrible to everyone in Quebec, or handgun owners in Quebec for the next 2 years.
There's going to be mass exodus.
Mm-hmm.
Come on over.
No, Alberta's better.
I know Alberta's better, but
you'll find that we don't actually hate people from Quebec, and everyone's welcome here. There's lots of jobs. How
does that happen? Quebec is a nation. They want to do their own thing. They want the money from Quebec, or they want the money from Ottawa, and they also want money from Alberta too. So keep that pouring in too.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, that's where it comes from. That's what the excess. That's where the excess comes from. It's actually Albertans send the rest of Canada $4,000 per capita per year.
Okay,
that doesn't come back.
Yes. All right. Yes, we miss Trevor. I'm not Miss Trevor. We are missing Trevor. Vince misses Trevor and his sarcasm.
So potentially handgun ban. I think Kyle, what you just mentioned as possibility sounds spookily accurate to what's going to happen. Revoked transfer. I would imagine, I would hope that, and not hope for the rest of you, but hope for myself that a bunch of cheap handguns go on CGN's EE and anything it's just bad timing because I'm moving right now and I don't really want to grab it. What I might have to do is like have some buddy of mine like buy a bunch of handguns that I point out to him, which I then buy from him later.
And that's called straw purchases?
No, it's not. He purchases.
Going to legal owners.
He can legally own it.
Yeah.
And then later on, I'm going to buy it from him.
Right. Not that you are taking advantage of those poor people in Quebec.
Oh, no, I am. That's what's happening. Yeah. You might call it a duress sale. Sale under duress when they have no other choice. Yeah. But if you're in Quebec, like don't buy any new handguns in the next couple days.
No. Just
because it might turn out poorly.
Yeah. So we'll know by tomorrow what happens. Good luck.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bumpy ride, I think, for everybody over the next year and a half, 2 years. Just saying.
Some more than others.
Yeah.
If you're in Quebec or BC or Ontario, all right for a year.
Yeah. Dougie's, I'm not sure. Okay. Anyways, if you would like to send us an email, send it at slamfireradio@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. And that's about it. Patreon supporters, we have no new Patreon supporters, but if you'd like to support the show and allow us to get content to you, go to patreon.com and /, the / or / Slamfire Radio. And then we'll make sure that you get some swag out to you. And I think at some point we're going to be doing new swag at some point. We need swag. I'm out.
Mm-hmm. Poor Mo has to sell guns. Or move. Moving's an option too.
I think, can he not move to the Ontario side and just work in Montreal?
I don't know.
He should.
Or
he's an Anglophone anyway.
Think long term and just come out west, or even longer term and move to the States.
I'm just moving down to Texas. I'm gonna go and hang out with Chris and Tim.
Texas I love Texas. Awesome. I love Texas.
Crosnos.
So nice.
Yeah, I'll sleep in their shed out back. Anyways, okay. Shout outs, Adriel.
Oh yeah, just to the Maple Seed crew. They did a match on not a match. They did an event on Sunday, and didn't need to be there. And now it's just happening. So fantastic. I'm multiplying now, Kelly. There's going to be multiple shoot bosses.
I know. I'm at that point too. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And not only that, we're multiplying with the same name. So you know what?
That's cheating. There's not very many Adriels out there. Come on.
Hey, you know what? Blame your parents. They should have named you Chuck, or they should have named you Steve or Mike.
Steve or Ryan or Mike or something like that. Yeah. That would have done it. But no, it's fantastic. It's like one of the things we need to do to make this thing work long term is we need other people taking it up and running it. Succession planning and it's happening. Yeah, it's looking so good.
Trying to make that happen with a few of my things. On that note, tonight's going to be my last night with Slamfire Radio. Letting you guys know.
No.
Shit.
I see a refusal letter. I've seen too many of them. Sorry, I can't accept it. Better try. Better luck next year.
Really? Okay. If I was serious, I wouldn't be smiling, but at some point, maybe I would be. All right. Succession planning.
I refuse.
That's why we have Mo and we have half there. So you refuse. You're not allowed to refuse. All right. Mo, what about you?
Mo is not here.
There's no Mo.
Oh, Kyle. Yeah. I'm looking at Norbert.
That was last week.
I know. I actually know Norbert as well. That's awesome. I'll see him. I'm going to see him tomorrow. Go. Sorry.
Nice. Doug for the many nights out in the field, even though we weren't able to close the deal. Thanks for coming out or taking me out and that. And Lyle, Eldon, and Pete for the amount of work that they got done on the ranges last week. I was busy recreating, hunting, whatever you want to call it.
You were armed hiking. That's what you were doing.
Armed hiking, yes. Yeah.
You were armed and you were going for a hike, but you didn't actually get anything, so it was armed hiking, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a technical term.
But yeah, they were out working on the range and got a pile of work done. So
that's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
It's nice to see that the range is back up and running. Really good.
Well, it's getting there. Not quite yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, lots of work.
You need a maple seed range in there. Just no reason, but you need a maple seed range.
And if
we held it there before we got shut down. We held.
I know. Yeah.
I was busy at Prairie Fair that weekend.
Mm-hmm. It's in the middle of nowhere, though, so I think we've only ever been there once.
It's not that far from me.
Yeah, it's only been the once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you build it, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
I know a guy. All right. So for me, I just wanted to say thank you again to Nick and Dave from Lower Trent Valley. I also wanted to say thank you to all the RSOs that worked at the Ladies' Day event. We had 8 or 9 of them from Ccfr, but we also had a huge ton of volunteers that helped from Lower Trent Valley as well. They were the glue that held everything together and made it work, and 42 women had an amazing time. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Also to the Maple Seed staff that worked the Maple Seed on the Saturday. A particular shout out to Russ R. I just wanted to say that thanks for hosting us afterwards at his house. He lives in the area, and we went and we had steaks and we had sat out like on Ontario and had this huge bonfire, and we posted pictures and people were taking Adriel because apparently the IITs were jealous about the Ontario IITs and the fact that Adriel makes them sleep in a rusty old van. So it was an amazing night. We spent the evening around the fire, watched planes literally take off and land from CFB Trenton. So they flew over the lake and also over Russ's house, which was directly across from the runway as well. So I could read the letters on the bottom of all the CF-18s and everything that was taking off. So it was awesome. I also wanted to say thank you very much to Tracy Wilson for hosting us for the Ccfr Election Day coverage party. Although it was not the results that we wanted, it was still great to see everybody at that, but also the fact that she did so much work and she literally walked her feet off. I think she put in a total of 90 kilometers of walking in just a few days. So
yeah,
if you don't think that the Ccfr is working for you, you're sadly mistaken. Like just wanted to say thank you very much to Tracy for doing that as well. So crazy. She spent 2 weeks literally out walking and then host the party for the election night. It was crazy. All right. So that's about it. So go over to Gun Owners Canada, like us on Facebook, give us a review on Facebook as well. We have that available to you. Join the Ccfr, support them for the legal challenge especially. And we'll see everybody next week. See you, everybody.
Later.
See you next week.